Start this off right.
I'd like to introduce you to the Church of Beers. When you listen to our program, you can leave your hopes and fears. We'll have a beer together, maybe a laugh or two. Church of Beers is just a place for people just like you. I'd like to welcome you to the Church of Beers. I'd like to welcome you to the Church of Beers. I'd like to welcome you to the Church of Beers. Let's all say cheers. At the Church of Beers.
Welcome to the Church of Beers, a show about craft brews and people, where we use craft beer as lubrication for our conversation. My name is Carlos Pastor, a.k.a. Pastor Los, and today on my show we have a very special guest, one of my oldest friends in the world, Mr. Dominick Wilkinson. Dom, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, brother? How you doing? And hello to all the Church of Beers folks on out there.
So this is our first episode that we able to actually do something that's over the phone. So this is kind of like, if Dom sounds a little different than what you're normally used to, it's because he's on a speaker. And so he's on his mic, and his mic is going to my mic, and then another mic. We got a bunch of mics going into each other. Sounds weird, but it's how it's working today. All right, brother.
Well, I'm glad I could actually make it. I know we tried to link on up a couple of times, but things kept getting in the way. But I am definitely a fan of the show, brother.
Oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm a fan of you. So let's get it started off the way we normally do. Why don't you crack that beer open that we both agreed on? We got from the Victory Brewing Company, we got ourselves some Golden Monkey, and it is a Belgian style triple ale. It is 9.5% ABV. It is a strong one. The way that the company has it on their website, it says it is they use Pilsner malts. It says Golden Monkey Belgian style triple, mystical flavors to enlighten you. So I kind of already cracked my bottle open and took a couple sips already because I had to wet my throat.
Well, it's definitely light. No, it's kind of sweet actually. I haven't even tasted it.
What do you think?
That's all right. That's all right. It's got like a little zing to it. I guess that's the 9.5 alcohol going on there, but it's light, it's sweet. I could see this chilling out on the back porch on a hot day in Florida. This
is I don't know about a hot day, man. You can't drink a bunch of these very quickly because this will mess you up. You got to have it in a cooler. Like, what do they call those things? One of those what are those metal cans that keep your things called? I'm having a brain fart here.
The tumblers.
Yeah, a tumbler. Oh, speaking of which, that's what your beautiful wife Nivea makes. All those beautiful tumblers.
She does.
And that's you can find Nivea's crafts, the tumblers that she makes, and she makes custom tumblers. And she's doing it on Facebook now, right?
Yes, she is. She's been doing great. She's been expanding on out, but right now we're in the process of moving, having a home built, our forever home finally. So when I retire, I can just chill on out there. So I'll be building up her enterprise in the new home coming up very soon.
And the way we could find anybody out there who wants to find one of those tumblers to keep your beer nice and cold, you can just look up on Facebook Nivea Glitter Designs, and you should be able to find her on there. And message her and get yourself your own personal made tumbler. She's made some for us here at the show, and we love our tumblers. Like, we use those things all the time. They're the best. Thank you again, by the way, Dom. Thank her again.
Oh, no problem there. No problem there. Always want to support you guys, and I bring a tumbler with me to work every day. As a matter of fact, I have a lot of the folks in the unit that I'm a part of ask for unit tumblers and stuff like that. So she's been doing very well.
Oh, that's really great, man. That's really great. I will get into what you do for a living in a second, but let's go back to the beer real quick. because we kind of got to describe it to the people so they can know what it looks like, tastes like. It is very golden. It's called Golden Monkey, and it literally looks like the color of gold. It's a nice light beer looking, like, let's say light looking beer, right? Would that be accurate, Dom?
Very accurate.
But not light tasting at all. It is. It
definitely got some kick.
It's got a lot of kick to it. How they describe it is, meet the most curious of all monkeys. His journey to discover the truth about life led him to meditate with monks, wrestle with lions, and study the stars. Golden Monkey crafts an ale with import malts, Belgian yeast, and a mix of magical spices results in a mystical flavors that will enlighten your senses. All right. Well, that's how they have it on their website. They have it posted.
About 3 of these, you might be seeing some mystical sense and stars. So
I've done it before. I was sitting there. They had this on special at a place that I go to watch football games at, and it was like $5 for a pint. So I was like, "Oh, that's great." So I'm throwing these things back, not even knowing how strong they are. Until I looked at the menu, I was like, "Oh, wow!" But yeah. It made for a fun night of watching football and losing.
I can see how this would sneak up on you, too. Because it is good, it's sweet, and even though it has a bite afterwards, it's not overwhelming.
Yeah, 100% I agree. Before we go any further, I'd like to give a special shout out to some of our listeners because we just recently started using promoting in a couple different places. One is India. So I'd like to special shout out to all people in India. Now, pardon me if I ruin the names of the places that I see pop up on my thing here, but we've had listeners from, it says, Bhubaneswar, India, Delhi, Bhopal, India, Calcutta, and I did see one. Oh yeah, I said Delhi already. So I'm glad because that's the only thing that shows up. It also has a listing here that says other. And then of course we have listeners from the Russian Federation as well. So they probably hear me talk crap about President Trump or some crap. I don't know. Every time I see Russian Federation, I'm like, oh, Russian hackers. Well, to the Russian Federation, za zdarovya. Cheers. Let me see, Dom. So I'm going to get into, so what is it that you do for a living, by the way?
Well, all up until my current occupation, which I've held for 19 years now, just hitting 19 years, I have held every job under the sun. But for the past 19 years, I've been in the United States military, Army to be specific.
Oh, okay. Speaking of the Army, didn't they just win a football game the other day?
Yes, we did. I'm so proud of those guys. I used to, when I worked up at West Point, used to mentor for the team up there, and that coach has really turned that program around.
What does mentoring for a team mean when you're a mentor for the team?
Well, part of it, remember that these young men and women, on the football team, men in this case, until just you wait, there will be. But they not only are they becoming getting their degree, but they've also got to be part of the military, which is a life-changing experience. So part of that is having that type of mentorship to become an officer, to become a positive member of society. So we always strive to reach on out to senior officers to become mentors to the cadets.
Oh, okay. So you kind of like help them deal with not dealing with football directly, but just as far as mentoring as dealing with anything military like stuff, I guess.
Exactly. Well, it's not just military like stuff, because remember we're trying to also teach them to be positive members of society. So there's a lot of volunteer work that goes along with that, giving back to the community. Some of these cadets have problems at home. Well, it's hard being away sometimes, so we help them through that. We might bring the cadets on over to our homes personally, bring them on in and have dinner with them and show them what what a good family feels like again when they're so far away from theirs. So it's very well worth it. I very much enjoyed my time with them.
Okay, that's really awesome. Now you were there at West Point for how many years?
I was there for 3 years.
Oh wow, okay. And in those 3 years, how many times did the Army win? Did the Army ever beat Navy in those 3 years?
Unfortunately not, no.
But they did eventually later on, right? That after the year after you left?
Yes, that's was it the year after? Yes. So I guess it took for me to leave to start our winning streak. So now we seem to be doing well. We didn't get the President's Cup last year, but hopefully I think our next game is Air Force. So if we can knock them off, then it's on to Navy.
Yeah, well, I saw those Navy guys, and they are freaking huge compared to the Army guys. They were monsters.
Yeah, to me, we stack up just as well athletically against them. But in the past, what has been the difference is the coaching.
Okay.
Their coach is phenomenal. The Navy's coach, he'll come up with plays. I actually see the changing of the defense or the offense to when something's not going right. In the past, the Army team wasn't able to change as quickly, but now with this new coach, yes, it's a battle.
Oh, that's great. Real quick, if anybody hears the drilling sound in the background, that's my neighbor, Dexter, and he's probably cutting up some bodies right now because just as soon as I start recording, it gets somebody freaking going over and sawing shit. Like, oh, come on, really? Perfect timing. But what are you going to do? You live in New York City. You live in the Bronx. Anything could happen.
No doubt. I remember those times.
Anything could happen, and you're always, if you live in other places, they're not necessarily right on top of each other. In India, they might be, but not here. In other places, you got a lot more space in between people. But New York City, we are right on top of each other, on top.
It's a blessing in disguise sometimes.
Sometimes, but most of the times, it could be kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's just sometimes it's a little too close, like the time when Dexter's cutting up bodies. It's now you're out there. Where now are you stationed at?
Right now, I'm stationed back and forth from Augusta, Georgia, Fort Gordon, and the United States Central Command down in MacDill Air Force Base in Florida. Oh,
okay. So I imagine you got some type of super clearance and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, as an officer, you tend to need to have a very high clearance, especially if you work in something like White House communications or something that's a whole nother level. Right. So you do know where Jimmy Hoff is buried by any chance, or that's not a White House thing? Mm-hmm. I have not been able to track that down.
Okay. So then the next thing is I'm going straight to is every president that we've had that's been kind of that said it out loud. Like we had, I think it was Jimmy Carter said it. And then later on, President Trump was like, oh, well, when I get into the White House, I'm going to tell everybody about the aliens. We're going to say what's really at Roswell. And then we don't hear nothing. They just get quiet. So my question to you is, what's at Roswell? What's going on over there? Are there aliens? Is it?
I couldn't tell. I couldn't even tell you because I have not been out that part. Sorry.
Yeah, but would you tell us? Would you tell us if you did know?
I'm going to venture to say no.
So what you're saying is that maybe there's a possibility. It's like, oh, that's a shooting star. No, it's not. It's going the wrong direction. Oh, it's freaking aliens. We knew it. We watched the movie. We watched what's that called? The Bob Lazar video. You ever seen that?
I have not.
It's pretty cool. I mean, oh no, but then aside of the Bob Lazar thing, that's on Netflix.